This is Spected99 back with another gameplay video. Um, since the beginning of this 2K cycle, in the beginning, like I guess season one, shooting was very difficult. So I noticed that there was just a lot of centers who couldn't shoot, or people were making centers that couldn't shoot. I made a stretch five initially, like he was 6'11", minimum wingspan, max shooting. And since he was minimum weight, or like he was like 215, he didn't really get a lot of rebounds. So once everyone kind of got their starter three, everyone kind of went up from pretty much say +4 to +5 to their rebounding. So it became a little more difficult to play on that build, just because since I'm playing with random people, not getting the rebound or getting out rebounded can be detrimental, especially when the rest of the team isn't shooting well or shooting at all. So I had to, give up on some of the thinking that I had because of just like personnel and the situation I was in. But, if I'm getting good production out of everybody, then my other build is viable. But I'm primarily use it for the threes now if I want to be tall in the three mode, because the boarding matters less there, because you're just on a quick race to 21. So we're trying to hit threes and whatever. And if the other center wants to take a two, then it helps us or whatever. So we're looking at the little screen here, 2A3 level board hunter. I was saying in another video that I pretty much have like whatever, I have one less than whatever is the max number you can have for builds. And none of my builds have changed names with the cap breakers. So I was kind of like vaguely disappointed by that. I thought just to be cool to see what other options I could have, but none of my builds have given me the option. So, maybe in March or May when I hit that 2, I'll try it again and see if, I get anything. So, but that's the introduction. And we're coming up on the attributes and how to make this build. Okay. So here we go. So the build is going to be at the center position, 7 foot, with the minimum wingspan. The one thing I don't like about being 7 foot or being this heavy is that you don't get access to challenger. Like you need like a 70 or a 71 perimeter defense, and you can only get like a 64 on this build. And so I sometimes when I'm trying to contest people, I do miss the benefit of having a challenger as a part of my arsenal. I kind of made the decision to put the weight to 262 so we could get access to a 97 defensive rebound. And, you can +1 to have legend rebounding, but I don't. I keep I use my +1 for set shot specialist or dead eye. Like I switch between those. So, so here's the build here. We'll just take a look at the, we'll start at the top, but the close shot is 89. That's more a factor of how the attributes, shook out as opposed to something I did on purpose. We have a very low driving layup. I don't ever want to do a layup, with this build. If I do get the layup, it was just because the control or the game, torqued me into that animation, and I just expect that I'm going to miss it because it's so low. The 66 dunk, if you got a clean lane, you can get it off, but obviously there's no contact, connections in there. Maybe theoretically, with Vet 2, I would put it up to, 70 or something just to get a little more oomph out of the dunks, whatever. The standing dunk at 76, you could also put it your +5 right there. And I think if you have enough vert, you could maybe get the silver rise up, but I would check on that. If that was something you were concerned about, I'd look into that as well. So I already hit starter 3. So I used the cap breaker philosophy on the shooting. I maxed out the mid range shot, and then I left the 3-point shot in an 81, and I used my 5 cap breakers to take it to an 86. To me, some people say you should only go to like an 83 3 ball because that's limitless, or that's like the cutoff to get badges. But for me, it's like, why not go to 86? Just because that means that if you run spot up shooter, you'll have a 96 3-point shot on a center build. And on top of that, it just means that you only have to get halfway in the bar, or the takeover bar, to be over 91 or 92 when you're shooting. And that's where you want to be, because I feel like that's like the sort of sweet spot where the green window is more generous, I guess you can say, as opposed to trying to pull cold with an 88, shooting with someone in your face or whatever. So I left the free throw at a 71, just because to me that's like the bare minimum that you need. And if you get fouled doing something that's like in your build's attributes, like if you're just if I'm doing the mid range and I get fouled, I will most likely make both shots. But if you do something that's like, if I try to do a layup and I get fouled, the game knows that I don't have any attributes, so I will smoke those free throws or whatever. So, and I imagine that when you have higher three, you can get more out of it. Like you can maybe do something dumb and the game will let you still make the three. But at a 71, the game is very judgy. For pass accuracy, we just went to a 78. If you wanted to, over the course of the seasons, you could just, incrementally get this up to an 80, because in my estimation of the game, when you have your pass accuracy at 80, it takes your hands rating to an 80. And so for right now, my hands rating would be like a 78, but it gives you access to the 80 bracket animation. So when you catch the ball from further away, it gives you a little more leeway. And obviously, if you had a 90, you would catch the ball smoother, or maybe a 90 passing. I don't know, But so for right now, you get like the C tier catch animations, and sometimes those include bobbles or whatever. And you're always going to bobble it, but I had a point guard, or a shooting guard rather, and he only had like a 79 pass ac, and his dribbling was like a 73 and 77 speed with ball. So I would always get animated weird. I +1'd the passing to an 80, and then I get better catch animations now. We went to a 64 on the perimeter just to have some perimeter. And since like I mentioned before earlier, I have my 6'11" stretch 5. He has like a 71 perimeter defense, so I get challenger. So that's kind of fun. And if I switch on to people, I can do a little something. I went to a 96 on the defensive rebound, and I used one of my +1s to turn that into a 97, because some of the meta is you'll run into people that have a 99 rebounding stat somewhere. But for the most part, people are being ecumenical. So they stop at a 96 and then they just plus up to legend or whatever. So I figured, well, if they're going to 96, let me just leave this little space for the 97. And most people will have defensive rebounding as opposed to offensive rebounding, because they want to steal possessions back from you. So if the other center has a low offensive rebound, or it isn't a 99, I'm pretty much going to snag the rebound. And obviously, since I'm a stretch, I would want my offensive board to be higher. I mean, you could run like Glass Gunner or something to get it higher, but I would want it to be higher, but I'm not going to be under the rim anyway. So it was a sacrifice that I had to make. The physicals are pretty, cut and dry. It's a 66 speed, 52 agility, 71 strength. This is a part that I'll zero in on for for the poops and the giggles of it all. Some centers will have a 99 strength or whatever the heck. I don't necessarily believe that is necessary. If they want to take me in the post and do some animations and up and under me or dunk on me or whatever, or spin me out of the way, I'm fine with that, because every time that they score, if they score 15 times that way, that's 15 possessions that their team didn't get to take a three on. And so even if I go from my perspective, if I go, let's say I had a terrible shooting game, I go 5 of 11. That's 15 points, right? Just from the three, and not what I'm talking about from the, whatever I get from sort of the middies or a quick dunk or something like that. So say, I end up with 17. He has 15 times 2. He has 30 points. I have 17. 5 of them are threes. Whatever assists that I get, whatever boards I get, you can add another 8, times 2 would be 16. We're outpacing them. If my point guard is shooting threes, we're outpacing him, because my 11 possessions were attempted threes. The rest of my team is attempting threes. Every possession of his is a sinkhole, because he's only shooting twos. And even if he can shoot a three, the little 64 perimeter, not really enough to disturb him. But since I'm so well versed at the at guarding the three, I feel like I can shake him up a little more than he can shake me up, especially if he doesn't have any perimeter and he doesn't have challenger and whatever. So, but I think I've covered everything I wanted to say. I guess I do have more. The whole reason I made this build is because I wanted to prove to myself and to the community, the small part of the community that I have access to, is that you don't need to get boards. Doesn't mean you can't shoot. Doesn't mean you don't have to be a stretch. I want the center to be a stretch. I want the center to have a 94 mid-range. I want them to have an 86 3, and I want them to spark from deep. I want them to space the floor. I want them to be, sort of a matchup nightmare. I guess there is one more caveat that I would like to explain in all full disclosure, I guess you can say, is that I don't like the fact that on the 7-foot build, I don't get shifty shooter. I'm not sure if that's because of my ball handling is so low, or whatever that is. But that was one of the things that I noticed, because like on my other center, I have on the 6'11", I definitely have shifty shooter. And then on my 7'3", I don't think I have it. But I only have 3 centers, and then I have a smaller center, but that's not really the point. But so I love to pull up and do a little midi fade, and without the badge, it gives me some creepy or weird animations, bro. So it's like whatever. Then I don't know if it's just because the speed is like a 54 speed, so I'm not really getting a lot of separation from my opponents when I try to pull up, but it definitely is missed. A missed part. I missed having challenger, and then I missed the shifty shooter component to the stretch. But past that, it does everything it needs to do. On the defensive side, I can snag boards, even if the other center has a 99 rebounding for offense or whatever. He gets his team the board. I'll still get enough to make a difference. And his arms being that long or his body weight being that heavy is going to show on his defensive side when he's trying to guard me. So whenever I see interior threats or I see paint beast or whatever, I know full-heartedly that you guys are trash and you're not daring to be great. And this build right here is all you need to turn the center position into a skill position. You don't have to hide behind, no, man, my job is to get boards. It's like, no, you just don't know how to shoot. And to a certain extent, you don't know how to think, because every time you have an interior center, it just ruins the game for everyone, bro. So that's the spiel. That's the Lord Bectonisms for today. I want to say thank you, Happy New Year, and I want to say Hakuna Mia Khalifa, bro. You feel me? That means no worries, bro. Becton is